What's up guys, it's Joey, and this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be traveling anywhere or going to any countries or anything. I'm just kind of going to be sitting down, talking about my experience over the past couple weeks. Since the virus has come out, it's been kind of crazy. A lot of things are happening, and it's been really just different traveling abroad. So I want to talk about all of that and then how I got back here. So I'm actually in my childhood room. Luckily, my parents have kept it. I moved out when I was 17, but they kind of kept it for me if I ever needed to come back. So very thankful for that I had a place to go. It's been kind of really crazy, and I wasn't gonna make a video on this at all. I was just kind of gonna skip over it and just kind of make my fun normal travel videos, but didn't want to seem like clickbaity or anything. And then I don't know, just the more kind of things happen, the more it almost didn't make sense not to make a video about this, because it would have been really weird if I was just still putting out videos of me traveling, because that's not the case. Can't really be doing that right now, and I wouldn't want to encourage that anyways. Yeah, I'm gonna cover everything that's happened, where we're at now, what's gonna be going on, and all of that. Start off, I mean, this has become such a serious thing all across the world. Everybody is affected in one way or another, and I just kind of want to share my story a little bit of how I was, but I mean, everybody's been affected differently. Countries are closing down and borders are closed, schools are closed. I really feel for the athletes, especially. They've been working their whole lives for certain events or their senior year, and then everything's canceled, people losing their jobs. It's very serious, and it's been interesting, especially being abroad, to see kind of how all different types of people from all over the world are being impacted and how they're affected, how they're trying to deal with it, and things like that. New Zealand, where I've been the past couple months, has been like, it's very much a melting pot of all different people around the world. I don't know if it's more, but or about equal of foreigners to actually New Zealanders. So it's a lot of tourists and a lot of backpackers and travelers, all these different types of people coming from all over the world. And I was traveling myself with a German and a Dutch guy, and then a Canadian and a Danish girl, and you see people from all over the place all the time. And so when this all happened, it was kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, just interesting to see how all these different types of people reacted to it. I mean, some people had to leave immediately because their countries were closing down. Others had to stay because their country closed down and they were like now not able to travel there. I was able to get out and get back home, but some of my friends, they tried to leave even before I did, and their flights were canceled, and now they're still in New Zealand. So it's been very different to see how it is all across the world, because it hasn't been equal for everybody. I mean, everybody's facing something different. Yeah, it's just crazy these past couple weeks. So I'm gonna go into my story a little bit because I'm behind on my editing, so you guys don't even know really where I've been up to the past couple months unless you're following me on Instagram, and then you can see through the stories and stuff. But I've been in New Zealand since the end of January, so now it's been a little over 2 months that I've been there, and I've been road tripping around with these two guys, and I mean, we got to have a blast. We were seeing a lot, but in New Zealand, you're camping most of the time, or at least we were in a lot of backpackers, so you don't have much access to Wi-Fi or anything. And then also we're not in the main towns or anything, so we weren't really getting much news. So we have been traveling, every now and then we'd get an update like, oh, the virus has now spread here, whatever, but we couldn't get much news. I mean, we were out in the middle of nowhere, sleeping in a tent for weeks on end. So the trip was supposed to end with them about mid-March, and at that point I'd arranged to buy this car from another girl that we had met along the way, and we had been talking for about 3 weeks for me to pick it up on March 14th. And as you know, that's kind of like right when it started to break loose. So we swapped over the car, I bought the car, and then we were traveling around a little bit more with everybody. And then about 2 or 3 days later was when kind of everybody got the news. I think Canada shut their border, and then the US banned European travelers. So I just remember we were all sitting down at this table, and it was me, a German, a Dutch, Canadian, and a Danish girl, and everybody was just having to deal with what their country was saying at that point. And that's when it kind of became really real. All 3 of our flights, actually, of the 3 guys that were traveling together, all of our flights got canceled like right away. The Canadian girl had to move up her flight to get out, and the Danish girl was kind of told, you either come back right now or you are staying. And so she chose to stay. That's when it kind of like all of a sudden became really like, it was like affecting us. New Zealand is a very, very safe country, so we were kind of in a bubble in a sense of like, no one was really talking about it because it wasn't there yet, and we didn't have Wi-Fi and nothing to get the news about it. And also we're out on this island, so like no one really knew what was going on. I wasn't getting much information from back home or anything. Being abroad, you just like are kind of taken out of that a little bit. So we didn't really realize the whole impact of the situation until kind of it was too late. Fast forward that night, my German friend, he got a call. He was supposed to leave on the 25th. On the 17th, he got a call that he was having to go home the next day. Then the other guy, the Dutch guy, was told he had to stay. His flight to Sydney had been canceled. He couldn't work there anymore, and now he was stuck in New Zealand. So I booked a ticket right away to get out and was gonna try and sell my car and everything. The first available available one because tickets were going crazy was like in about 5 or 6 days, I think, because there was either no tickets or tickets were like $4,000 or $5,000. So I booked the first one that was a reasonable price. I think it was about $500, which is still a ton to come home because I was not planning on spending that money at all, really. I had to get the ferry from the south to the North Island because the only way to fly out was off the North Island in the capital, Auckland. And I was on the South Island down in Christchurch. So I had to book a ticket of the ferry to cross because now I had this car with me that I just bought that now I couldn't use because I was supposed to stay another month and a half. I was gonna road trip all over the place and had a lot of plans that everything, as you know, went crazy. So I had to book a ticket and I looked and the ferry was completely booked out every single night except for like the day I looked. So I had to immediately get in the car, drive 5 hours and go north up and catch this ferry that night. Everything became super stressful all at once. The last spot of everything was filling up and everybody was trying to get out and no one could. So I drove up north and took the ferry and got across, but then it left me off at like 10 o'clock at night. Luckily or unluckily, the German guy I was traveling with, his flight had been canceled, so he was stuck in Wellington. He's actually still stuck now 2 weeks later, so he's been stuck for a long time. But he had made some friends in Wellington, so they allowed me to crash there since it was so late at night. So before I left on Monday, I looked on Facebook because we had this group of all people stuck in New Zealand, and I saw some people from the US saying, hey, the flight is gonna shut down, because there was only one flight still running. All the flights to Canada had been shut down and then all the rest of the flights to the States, but there was one running from Auckland to LA. And they said they took that, but the crew and the gate agents were saying that they were gonna shut down that flight and it wasn't gonna be running anymore in the rest of the week. I had this flight scheduled on Thursday, so I was like 3 days away. What's gonna happen? I couldn't call from New Zealand. I had no minutes and no credits or anything, so I texted my mom and was like, hey, can you please call? I know it's gonna be a long hold, but just check if this flight's still running. I'm gonna get on driving north because I still had 8 hours to go. So I'm driving and then my mom messaged back, pull over right now, we need you. I started talking with her, what's going on? And they were canceling all the flights after Tuesday. There's one last seat tomorrow, can you make it? And I was like, I have to. So I like booked it on up there. So it was Monday and then they got me a seat for that Tuesday night flight. And that was like really stressful because I still had this car with me that I literally just bought. I was trying to sell it, but I didn't know what to do. I had to like get ready to leave the country and everything months early. I get to Auckland, put off all my stuff at a hostel, and then just like start posting in the Facebook groups of like, please somebody, I need to sell this car. And people try to take advantage of that and they're offering me way too little. So I was like, come on, please, like anybody that wants a real offer. And luckily this British couple was just coming in and they were going into their quarantine and said, we really need the car for their work. So we talked and worked out a price and they took it. And then I got on my flight like right away. And that was just like crazy. I've never had to like have every plan and everything change so fast. It was literally like overnight. All of a sudden, like one day I was gonna be here. I was gonna be in New Zealand for at least another month and a half. And then I had a flight over to Australia to then go to South Africa. That was kind of my plan. And then everything got canceled and everybody had to go home. And now I'm home like not even a week later. And it's just like crazy how much the world has changed in the past week and a half. So yeah, and then on the airport, when I finally got there, the line just to get in was huge because they had to test everybody through security, ask you a bunch of questions and to get in. But then once I got inside the airport, something interesting was it was actually like almost empty other than people buying flights. There were so many people buying flights because there was only a few like flights left and people were just trying to see whatever they could to get out. But actually like in the tickets and in security and stuff, it was relatively empty. So I got on my flight and went over to LA and everything was actually pretty normal on like customs and stuff like that. There wasn't any special procedures, no testing there or anything. It was all kind of normal once we got to the States, just the airports were like dead. There was barely anybody. My flights was one of the only ones. Then I had a connecting flight through Texas and then Florida to get home. And on the last flight, there was literally 11 people. And the pilot was pretty funny. He just came back and talked to us. He was like, I don't feel like getting on the intercom or anything. I'm just gonna talk to you guys because there's no one here. So it was really kind of casual and not too hard once you kind of got a ticket that was actually flying. It was just very weird because like my flight that got canceled, they didn't even tell me. If I hadn't called, I would have no idea that that one was canceled. And a lot of people were getting that they just showed up to the airport to find out they had no flight. So it's very just weird because things were changing so fast. The airlines, I guess, couldn't keep up or what, I don't know what it was. So when I finally landed though, it was very, very strange because I haven't seen my parents in months. I haven't seen any of my friends or anything. And my parents came and they brought another car for me to get in. I could only say hello to them. I couldn't go up, I'd give them a hug. I couldn't like really get close to them and I wasn't able to touch them at all because coming through all those airports, I'm pretty high risk right now. That's why I'm in quarantine. Normally when I come home, it's like big hugs all around. We go to dinner or something. I see a bunch of people, but now I come home and I'm in a box. So yeah, we just put all my stuff in a trash bag, put it in my car, drove home, put everything in the wash, and now I'm in my room for the next 2 weeks or more. I don't know. So yeah, it's like just so different than everything I'm used to. It's very, very weird. Just kind of had to, like, every day you'd wake up to the news of just something completely new. And yeah, it was really, really stressful. But luckily I was able to make it home. I'm very, very glad to be here, even though I can't leave. But that's where I'm at kind of right now. And that was my experience. So now I'm gonna kind of talk about like what's gonna happen from here, because obviously I can't travel right now. I can't be doing any of my normal stuff. So kind of where's the channel gonna go? First thing is I'm actually pretty behind on my editing. So you're gonna see quite a few videos from Australia and New Zealand coming up here pretty soon. So don't actually think I'm there right now. All of that was filmed before the virus. I mean, I started that was from December, January, February. That's all there. Don't be like, oh my God, what's he doing right now? I know I'm probably still gonna get a bunch of those comments, but I'm actually at home here just editing. That's the first thing. The next is I kind of want to take these 14 days of quarantine to kind of make a video each day. I'm really going to try for that, to make one every single day. I don't have anything else going on, so it shouldn't be that bad, but I mean, editing and stuff is still a lot. But I really want to make a video each day, just kind of talking with you guys to show like a little bit more of myself. Because I've shown a lot of my travels, but I have a lot of stories from like, I only started my vlog half a year ago. So you guys are 25 or so countries behind. So I have a lot more to share with you. I want to talk about like my time in Africa, my first travel experiences, things like that. And if you guys want to know anything more about me, definitely leave a comment down below. Anything you want to ask. I don't know if I'll do an actual like Q&A, but I may take some of your ideas to make a video about it. I got 14 I want to make, so definitely some room to throw in a couple of your guys' ideas. I don't know, I'm really excited for this, to kind of take an opportunity to sit down, grow this a little more, because I get to show a lot of places, but I'd like to show a little bit more of myself with you guys. Been looking forward to making some of these videos for a long time. I've just never had the time or chance or opportunity to like sit down and like do that. Yeah, in the meantime, other than that, I'm starting each day with some meditation. I'm trying to run and do exercises every day. I've got some books I want to read. I want to play a lot of Pokemon. I got to get caught up on that. Just kind of take some time to decompress. I haven't really like had downtime since I left almost a year ago. So it's been a lot. Gonna be hanging out in this room for the foreseeable future. I am allowed to go outside, run around and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm in this room. Can't go in the rest of the house because some family members here that are higher risk. So keeping me separate since I just traveled a ton. After those 2 weeks, then I'll be able to go out and interact with all of them and everything. But right now, this is it. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any ideas, leave a comment down below, give it a like, subscribe, all those things. Goodbye.